Not enjoying the party? Well, you look as bored as the dead. No, I thought I could rescue you from becoming a prune before setting up there. You'll have plenty of years to dry up then. You found me out. You look pitiful standing here on your own. The other families wouldn't dare get on your wrong side. They've been staring at you, but none are brave enough to make a move, likely because they don't want to seem desperate to get into your good graces before the ascension. I'm not afraid of you or your family, and I certainly don't care about good graces, least of all from you. I'm talking to you because I still need to fulfill my role. Remember what we were taught? In light of hostility, face it amicably. You can be hostile. Don't pretend that you can't. You're not a saint. You wear a mask like the rest of us, but you wear it so tightly that it leaves an imprint you think actually reflects yourself. I didn't come here to insult you. Just telling hard truths as usual. I'm not playing any game. Why are you so suspicious? If I recall correctly, you were the one who always cheated, but it was only when I stooped to your level in order to win that you had a problem with my tactics. Rightly so, you believe everyone pokes at you to get a response they'll hang you with later, so believe what you want to believe. Have you tried this? Whoever approved of it must have burnt off their taste buds. It's awful. And drink I do. All this Dominion does is gossip. I don't want their next topic of conversation to be Zaros Athalin sneering at the royal spread. You know what these people are like. They see one thing of interest, embellish it to suit their jaded views, and before you know it, you're the most talked about person in the land. Everyone suddenly knows your business. If that's why you're ignoring them, then I understand it. They're already going to have plenty to talk about after tonight. You say that as if you could talk to anyone in here and actually hold the conversation without anger. Yes, you're doing fine with me, but that's expected, isn't it? Given our history. We have so much to talk about. I don't know. You tell me. How long has it been since we last spoke? What, 8 years? I hear everything from my mother. I heard you completed your education with flying colors. You continue to do your annual services in the 4 nations, and your favor among the people is strengthening. What? You were looking out for me, were you? I didn't attend on purpose. Why? Well, let's see. What were the last words you spoke to me? You want to leave the past. There's no escaping it. No, you didn't say that. Ah, yes, of course. You said, and I quote, "You are a disgusting leech who won my trust, only to break me after. Knowing you is my greatest regret. I never want to see your face again." End quote. Your mask is slipping. How it stung. But I honored your words for as long as I could, excluding the noble responsibilities. This is another one. I'm here because it's bad manners to decline an invitation from the royal family, particularly when it is a renouncement. Not attending would add more fire to the flames, and we've been taught better than to show our hatred. Civility is how we thrive, or whatever it was. I have to talk to you. It would be worse if I kept to myself in a corner watching. This way they can see us being cordial. I do it for my family, not for myself. I don't care what people say about me, but when it reflects poorly on my family, who never hold their tongue when reputation is concerned, I must do my duty as a son of the young Athalan line. I don't care what you think of me. Those words might have stung before, but now I feel nothing. You said all that needed to be said back then. You don't have to add anything more, I understand. But from now, I will ensure that we only speak on formal occasions such as this when it is necessary to do so. The next time will likely be your coronation. I doubt anyone would threaten that. Cerula has been the most peaceful it's ever been under Queen Rowena. You think me incompetent enough to notice? I see. If the Faisal family challenge, you'll be competing with a 12-year-old. And if the Ponvilus family challenge, everyone would laugh them out of the kingdom for offering a criminal as an heir. And the rest, well, no one would back them anyway. And if my family challenges, well, may the best child win. Don't worry so much. No one will interfere with your ascension to the throne. Your mother was the best yet, and is beloved by practically all the people. And since when did you care? The last I remember, you wanted to sever your ties and explore the world. Ah, is that what they brainwashed you into thinking? The leech was whispering in your ear to condemn Cerula. Of course. Apparently, you're inept at thinking up your own dreams that aren't to do with the success of the Dominion. Well, that's how it sounded. Want to dance? Well, what better way to show we're getting along? You don't think so? You have everything to gain. Like the love of your soon-to-be subjects. Knowing that you can dance with a leech and still keep calm. Are you saying you can't? Still so easily riled. Still remember your lessons? Tip-top shape, 1, 2, 3. You have to use it more for these gatherings, so I shouldn't see any mistakes. Well, I've heard from rumors I judge a lot, so yes, sure, let's play this game. Tell me, what rumors have you heard about me? Ha! Really? Well, I would have personally loved to have as you said, a penchant for promiscuity, but alas, my life is not that exciting. No, though it would have been fun to climb into windows and frolic from bedroom to bedroom, bedding him or her or them when it suited me. If you really did believe that, then I wonder if at night you were waiting for me to climb through your window. Well, you seem to believe everything thrown around, so I don't find it that far-fetched if you did. You actually thought I lost myself to medication and liquor, that I spiraled out of control after what happened. You think little of me. That hasn't changed. Are you disappointed that your image of me isn't as debauched as you expected? Always listening and believing, Even now. I mean exactly what I say. You were like this before, so hot-headed, never taking the time to analyze the evidence. You found a conclusion you liked and selected whatever suited your theory. Like with the Apple incident, do you remember? I'll never forget. You thought it was that student, what was his name? Laurel, who took it. You were adamant So adamant, in fact, that you brazenly walked up to the headmaster's office and presented him with your baseless accusation. The poor boy almost got expelled if I hadn't confessed to taking it. I thought you would have learned from that at least. That you need to think before you act. As the next in line, I don't know if I feel comfortable with a ruler so quick to point the finger. Who knows how many wars you might start? We're dancing. It would be bad form to leave in the middle of a dance. Yes, you're expected to do great things. I'm the apparent philanderer. Indeed. And yet, here we are, dancing together as equals. You hate that thought, don't you? There's never a need for you to say anything. Your eyes reveal your honesty as always. And to think I used to get lost in them. No wonder I was so blind. I was using your gaze to see just so I could get that much closer. Not to your money, as if I need more of it. See, that's what it is with you families. You think you're above the rest of us just because of the value you hold. Strip it all away and you're no different from the people you despise to mingle with. Of course you do your duties, and you do them well. But for someone so temperamental, you can't help but bear some disgust for them, can you? Even at school you were like that. No, I don't see them that way. We remember our roots, but you, having the throne for so long, must have inflated your bank as well as your ego. I'm not looking down at you, just presenting an argument through observation. One of us must. Your dancing wasn't bad. If you wanted me to step on you, all you had to do was ask.
Good evening. First, I'd like to thank all of you for being here. I'm sure the journey was tireless for some, so I am grateful for your attendance. It is an honor to have the 7 noble families together for this historical occasion, as it has been many times in the past. To see those from before having grown into such fine citizens of Cerula is remarkable. And tonight, we have a new addition, the Athalan family, who are pioneers and an inspiration to us all. We welcome you to our halls and our traditions.
I bet it has them.
Therefore, it is customary for the rules of the upcoming proclamation to be recited under the law of the Second Eminence, Horeth Knighton Stellaire. Thank you. As our sacred nation, Cerula, was founded by a family united not by blood, but by shared values wherein a land became home, the ambiguity of resolution and division of power remained. For all would elect themselves to govern, and a verdict never carried. To ensure the longevity and justness of an equally just nation, it was put forth that upon a monarch's renouncement, the noble families of Cerula gather before our sacred nation to accept the next in line or challenge their position, thereby invoking the Imperium right, a trial of honor, strength, and wisdom, all qualities that without one could not claim the throne. Thus, in sight of all dominion, of all nobility, of all messengers to hearken and disseminate, the ruling head of this land must ask for their favor or for their contention. Please step forward. If none contest, then my only child will ascend, and the Ilves family will continue to uphold the foundations of Cerula until the next monarch renouncement. To the noble Ponvilus line, will you favor or contest?
Today, we favor the seat to Ilves.
To the noble Ghazi line, will you favor or contest?
Today, we favor the seat to Ilves.
To the noble Dolgan line, will you favor or contest?
Today we favor the seat to Ilves.
To the noble Faisal line, will you favor or contest?
Today we favor the seat
See?
to Ilves.
What did I tell you?
To the noble Hynard line, will you favor or contest?
Today we favor the seat to Ilves.
And to the noble Athalan line, will you favor or contest?
Today we contest the seat of Ilves.
you contest.
Yes. I didn't think anyone
The Athalan line have invoked the Imperium right to contest the throne and the continuation of the Ilves rule. Who do you put forward?
I put forward Zaros Kaiman Athalin as our contender.
Sal Zaros,
Here.
do you consent to becoming your family's contender?
I do.
Then, as per the law, all contenders must reside in the palace until the trials are concluded. I shall retain my position in the meantime and will officially renounce my title when our future ruler is justly selected. Thank you for your patience and your support. Though my rule will soon come to an end, the night has only just begun. So please, enjoy the rest of your time here. What a surprising turn of events.
Quite, Your Eminence.
Well, we have prepared for the initial ceremony, but it will take time to finalize the trials and judges. I do hope the process of waiting isn't too tedious for you.
No, not at all. Please, take your time.
Your Eminence, I must stress not to take the contention as a slight to your many years serving the Dominion, and it has been many a good year.
Thank you, Sile Nira.
I'd also like to say, I have no doubt in my mind that your child will uphold your fervour to protect the realm, perhaps even more so than yourself. I can see they have much to offer, quite like my own child. Your progressive attitude to society and belief in equality is why Cerula is a land to be proud of. Both Zaros and I are not only proud to be Cerulan citizens, but to share the respect of much older noble families. If only he was given the opportunity to show that loyalty. And now he has. Of course, I have no ill intent against you or your long-standing dynasty, despite what the past brought us.
Absolutely. You have the right to contest. Doing so for the first time in almost half a millennia is something, isn't it? And on your first renouncement, no less.
Ah, yes. Well, the other noble families are so dutiful in their positions that I feel they've lost the ability to question other matters of their standing in the grand order of their prestige class. And I am not getting any younger, and Zaros is in his prime, as is your child. I am sure whoever is best equipped to serve Cerula shall be chosen to lead.
And the one who isn't to graciously honor the verdict.
With absolute grace.
Argyll, escort Sal Zaros to the Turstone chambers and provide him with whatever he may need for a comfortable stay.
At once, Your Eminence. If you'll follow me, Sal Zaros.
We'll talk later, okay?
Yes, Mother. Your Eminence.
Don't frown. Because you have to respect our traditions just as much as I have to uphold them. Changing the rules will incite a rebellion. It would mean I am above the law, enough so to bend it to my whims. As a ruler, I make sure the law is enforced. Laws can be amended, added, and at times dissolved completely, and it must be weighed with the opinions of others. But for personal gain? Absolutely not. You have to do your duty. I know you don't want to train with him, but this is the law. He has every right to be here, same as you. We have to give him the opportunity to prove himself, no matter how much we may come to dislike it. Well, it's not easy having your lineage challenged quite like this. I spent my years doing what I could for Cerula, to make it better than how my father left it. And that's not to say he didn't do a good job, though. His mistake may have led to this. I tried to learn from him and grow, just as he did from his mother. I always thought the no invocation meant the families were pleased with what the ruler had done, and we all have issues. Sitting on that throne is no easy feat, even for someone with a strong heart like you. But the Athalan family are new at this, and so we'll let them have the attention. I can't assume they did it on purpose. but I will not take this lightly. If you're not selected, I will be proud of you nonetheless. I already am, more than I can put into words. I could fill a whole library and I still wouldn't be finished. All I ask is for you to do your best and treat yourself well. I know how upset and in your mind you can be sometimes. Good. I apologize for the late hour. There were several things to manage after the day's event.
Of course, I understand.
Did you enjoy the wine?
Yes, it has a nice sweetness to it. I don't think I've ever tasted it before.
It's from the vineyards of Nadiri. It only comes into season 2 months of the year, so its quantity is carefully reserved.
For the highest buyers, I assume.
There is always a price for quality. As you know, the Imperium right has not been invoked for centuries. The trial models, we have adhered to the laws and rules of an older time, and they haven't been updated as of yet. So, in order to ensure we honour the right as it was made, the conditions need to be looked upon again. I'm not sure how long the process will take, but the Council, select scholars and historians have already started.
As a guess, what sort of trials will you be preparing?
The core values of what the right demands the ruler to have: honour, wisdom, strength, and heart. Both of you will be tested on all of them through the course of multiple weeks, and during that time, you will study and learn with the finest teachers Cerula has to offer.
Your Eminence, if I may, some would believe your child already has the upper advantage. Being brought up in this palace, they've had access to said fine teachers. And, as you stated before, there is a price to quality that some do not have the fortune to pay for. I would hope the topics judged won't favor the highest bidder.
Of course. The royal family does not have any input in the trials themselves, but I am notified on progress, and only progress. Nothing else. So rest assured that the challenges you'll both face in the coming weeks are created by the people of Cerula themselves, and what they believe to be the highest qualities a leader should have.
How do they choose?
I am personally unsure about that matter, but scholars learned in the histories of Cerula, Titan, Kallard, all our neighbouring dominions, have boundless knowledge on their rulers, where they succeeded and failed, what they succumbed to, what they prevailed against, their own trials and tribulations. The scholars are meant to create something challenging for both of you. There will be no easy task. The Imperium right, no matter the time in which it is invoked, is supposed to test every facet of who you are. Therefore, the planning will be extensive. Their priority right now is to convert the older traditions into our newer ones and come up with suitable assessments that must be unanimously agreed upon. These will be your quarters for the duration of your stay. Feel free to roam around. They will show you any rooms you'd like to visit. In fact, I'd suggest tomorrow would be wise to explore, so you're not cooped up in here. No, you are going to show him around. Understand? Good. If you need anything, do not hesitate to ask.
I'll keep that in mind.
What about another pitcher of wine? Or does what you have suffice until tomorrow?
No, I'm quite fine with that. Thank you.
Well then, I'll leave you two to catch up. I hope to see you around tomorrow.
Good night, Your Eminence.
Good night.
Don't start. You think I have some kind of addiction? You don't have to say anything. As always. This is a strange time for you to play dumb. What happened to the child who wanted to show their superiority, The one who wanted to win by any means necessary. No, they're still in there. Maybe barred behind the finest royal education and etiquette, but still there, listening. Oh, I know. Because it's who you are. And no amount of tutelage can contain it. You're naive to think otherwise. I did know you. I knew the real you. The one you hid when your reputation was concerned. The same one you're hiding now. What are you afraid of? That they won't accept you? That they'll be devastated to find out that the natural heir to Cerula is not only egotistical and ill-tempered, but a person who might cause its downfall? And I thought your mother taught you better. What a foul mouth. My mother taught me to be mindful no matter who I face. For an act brought from emotion can a blessing or weapon be made. And I am certainly not going to provide you with any ammunition. I can tell you're searching for it. All of you are. You and all the other nobles. You think yourselves invisible, having been in positions of power so long. But we see you. We always have, but never gave you the satisfaction of being noticed. Because acknowledging the sneers and the scowls and the ignorant drivel of those supposedly higher than us means reacting to your contempt. Watching all of you seethe when you don't get your way is delightful. Today, I suppose one could speculate. None of you expected it, and Queen Rowena, normally an expert at hiding her thoughts, was unable to do so for a split moment. And if I did know about the contention? What, What would you say? What do you have to say to me? No, you're lingering for a reason. If you didn't want to talk, you'd have left earlier. Well, come on. We're finally alone together after all these years. Surely you've shouted or whispered obscenities into the void that were meant for me. So go on, I'm right here. What you said to me before. There came a time where I simply got over it. And then I didn't care, like I do now. I didn't waste any of my time pondering on a fantasy, and definitely not on who you are in reality. Oh, did I hit a nerve? You really thought I cared enough to think about you after that? Ooh, what are you going to do? Strike me? A contender for the throne? My. You really haven't changed. Maybe it was good of my mother to invoke the right. Clearly, Cerula is vulnerable in your hands. What do you have to drink for? Life not going the way you wanted. The world doesn't bend for you. Must be a shock. I don't take pleasure in seeing anyone suffer, including you. But hard truths aren't easy to face, are they? I'm not taunting you. I prefer the word teasing. Okay, there is some enjoyment I'm taking from this, but that's only because I know you're trying so hard to keep it together. It's simple for me because I understand how everything works. And the wine is a way of helping me see it. Sure, and that's why you're so against it yourself for the glass in your hand. Ah, you paid for it, did you? With your own money, or with your mother's? Or how about the taxes the common people paid to the monarchy in return for common services? Perhaps I paid for this drink, so I'm entitled to it just as much as you are, if not more. I don't want the entitlement you think I do. What I want is to be seen as an equal among you lot. I've come to accept that it may never happen, and your view of us may never change, but now I have the chance to do something about it. Let's see. If I was chosen to rule, I would cripple the class system, tax the richest, and supply more benefits for those underneath the lower class. And that would be just the beginning. Although this dominion claims to help everyone, there are still thousands of people living in ways you couldn't imagine. You wouldn't be able to last a day in their shoes. Actually, you probably wouldn't even want to step in them. Wow, how lucky for them the royal child came to visit when duty demanded it. To give a performance of altruism in the slums at morning and retire on a plump feather bed in the evening. Stomach full, washed properly, waited on by servants. They must be honored to exist in your presence. And when you return home, I bet you can't wait to wash it all off you. I won't deny that Queen Rowena has done more for the poorest in Cerula than all the others before her. The history books paint them all in colorful, bright ways, omitting the deeds done in darkness, who they crushed to lift themselves up, and how they shied away from accountability by pointing at the innocent. Some were better, some were worse, and she is above them all. But it is still not enough. And I honestly don't think you'd do much better. I highly doubt I'm underestimating you. In our years apart, I'd have thought you would gain more perspective on life and the lives of those you may affect in the future. Imagine my disappointment when I realized you had only upgraded the mask you wore, all etched onto an alluring face. At least that aspect of you only enhanced, in my opinion. You yearn for those compliments, don't you? No matter who it's from, even a leech like me, it's still a form of validation. You know what the problem with that is. The more you depend on others for self-worth, the more you hunger for it. And when the time comes and you have no one, then what becomes of you? You've had a whole realm to love you since you were born. You did things in public that could be considered philanthropic, but you made sure to be seen doing it to strengthen that love. There are those who see the game being played. My family does, and so do I. You say there's none because you've been playing it all your life. The only time I ever saw beneath it was when we were at school. And that's why, all these years, I held on to the hope that the person I knew was in there, deep within, would manifest and break through. But I should have known returning back to this fallacy would stitch it up again. I told you, time mended the pain and it washed my feelings away with it. After that, it was simple curiosity. Whenever I heard about you, I would think it to myself. But beyond that scope, you meant nothing to me. And now, you're just a person who had the natural privilege of being an heir. You and I, competing for the throne. Who would have guessed? This will be written down in Cerulean history, so why not give them a show? They'll all be watching. This will be all the Dominion will talk about for however long it lasts. Probably the one thing nobles and the rest of Cerula have in common now. Who do you think they'll want to win? You, a pampered palace brat who knows nothing of their troubles. Maybe, if they believe your visit to be a sign of your humanity and not a chore to tick off a schedule. It's obvious who'll want you to win. The high and mighty. The ones in the royal pockets. I know little of how deep their roots have sunk, but I know they'll do whatever it takes to keep their status. Even the nobles, I suspect. It's not conjecture. I'm reminded of our history, which is also why I've accepted that the trials, as much as Queen Rowena said it'll be unbiased, will inevitably swing in your favor. Because the people making them want it that way, and they know what will happen if I ascend. Of course, you don't see it. You don't have an eye for anything except your own reflection. Do yourself a favor and look beyond the mirror. Step out of your box and see the realm for what it is. Things need to be improved. We can no longer have more of the same. I think that's exactly what you'd bring. Nothing new. A lie? You should know me better than that. We made a promise, remember? Or have you forgotten?
I'll be waiting in the morning for that tour.